Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 5.
The use and the manufacturing of meth continues to be a problem across our region. Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight. A whistleblower called our attention to a problem spot in northwestern Minnesota. Valley News Team's Neil Carlson has more on this and what everyone needs to know to combat this possible problem in your neighborhood.
Our whistleblower says the problem is located right here on the main street of Red Lake Falls. The whistleblower says her father lived in this apartment building and claimed meth was being used and even manufactured here.
However, Sheriff Mitch Bernstein says the building's owner has been very cooperative and even recently agreed to a search of the building's empty rooms in a search for evidence of the possible manufacture of meth.
Obviously, we can't go through every apartment if it's occupied, but we went pretty much through every common area or every unoccupied apartment in there and didn't find anything. There has been some reports of drug activity, and I know people have been arrested in that building.
But police simply can't go knocking down doors on a hunch. If you want drugs out of your neighborhood, you have to be willing to step forward and give police specific information. Everyone, including drug users and manufacturers, have rights. Law enforcement needs your specific information to build a case that enables a judge to sign a warrant, allowing them to clean up the problem.
The more specific, the better. And sometimes I know people get frustrated in the public because they maybe call in and they don't see anything happen, but sometimes these investigation takes months. You have to put together a piece you get here and a piece you get there, and then all of a sudden you can put it all together and get a warrant. So don't get frustrated if something doesn't happen right away. You know, this is a serious thing that we want to take care of.
From Red Lake Falls, Minnesota, Neil Carlson, Valley News Live.
Now, if you need help uncovering fraud and corruption in your community, just call our whistleblower hotline. We'll do our very best to get to the bottom of it. Call 701-237-6576. Leave your tip with us and a member of our investigative team will get on the case and go to work exposing the truth. Well, it's the perfect time and temp for making ice sculptures. A new frozen creature is likely turning heads down at Lake Calhoun. The ice sculpture is the latest part of the Minneapolis Institute of Art's 100th birthday celebration. The dragon has about 280 blocks of ice, which are several hundred pounds of ice. Construction's a lot like Lego building blocks, and how fun is that? But up here in the valley, it sure has been cold enough to keep ice frozen outside. Let's go to Hutch to see what this Friday night has in store for us. Hutch?
Well, after enjoying temperatures that rose up into the upper 20s, we're on our way down for the entirety of the weekend. A wind chill advisory has been posted. That's in effect tonight and into Sunday as some brutally cold air will return to the valley. Here is a look outdoors as we take a look. There are teens up in the Devil's Lake Basin with temperatures already falling. Expect light flurries to make their way through. Temperatures are warmer to the south and west, but Fargo's planner tonight shows that we will see 20 degrees in the 7 o'clock hour, teens this evening, and get out and walk the dog tonight because it will not be this warm again for some time. We do warm up, but boy, it's been a quick warm up of one day. This is the warmest day we've had in the last almost 2 weeks.
Feels good.
It did feel pretty good. So remember it. It may happen again someday.
Let's hope someday soon.
I'll tell you when in a minute.
All right, thanks, Mitch. Well, an act at the state capitol on Ash Wednesday is still getting heat after a leader of the Bismarck Muslim Community House was asked not to lead the North Dakota House in prayer. Speaker of the House says that's because some members felt it would be more appropriate to have someone of the Christian faith lead the prayer on a Christian holiday, Ash Wednesday, and have Dr. Nadim Kolalai lead the House in prayer at a later date. A Facebook post, though, from earlier in the week may call into question the reason for Dr. Kolalai being asked to change days. The post, which has since been removed from the North Dakota District 24 Republicans page, says in part Dr. Kolalai leading the prayer was political correctness at its worst, and that Muslims use their religion as justification for the slaughter of anybody not Muslim the world over. Dr. Kolalai did lead the state senate in prayer on Wednesday. We're going to have much more on this story coming up on Valley News Live at 6 o'clock tonight. A Dilworth woman's accused of stealing more than $400,000 from a Clay County business. Christine Schmidtke is charged with taking the money from the firm that she worked for, the Clay County Abstract Company. She's facing 5 felony charges of theft by swindle. If convicted, Schmidtke could face 10 years and $20,000 fine in each count. She was arrested, but we're told that she's posted bail. Valley News Live contacted her former employer, but they declined to comment. Well, it's Friday. Time to get a look at this week's Valley's Most Wanted. Police say that Christopher Wilkins Sr. is wanted for conspiracy to commit theft or property. Call your police department if you have any information on Wilkins. A bill making its way through the Minnesota legislature would immediately restore a felon's right to vote upon release from prison. John Croman has much more on this.
State lawmakers have been asked to do something about the fact that there are 47,000 Minnesotans who have already done their time or out of jail but still cannot vote.
People lined up outside a Senate hearing room for a bill known as Free the Vote.
How can you explain to people that they pay their taxes but they can't vote?
Demetria Carter won't be able to vote until 2019 when her probation ends for misusing a credit card.
There's been an emptiness in my soul of not being able to fully participate.
You are incarcerated, you can't vote. That makes sense.
Hennepin County Attorney Mike Freeman testified in favor of the bill allowing former offenders to vote as soon as they're released, an idea the committee endorsed.
When my kids do something wrong, I don't think, well, you know, you did something wrong. Remember that. You did something wrong. I forgive and I try to forget.
But some argue losing the vote is part of the punishment.
Do we have anyone here that would be a victim that's been brutally victimized by a felon who now it might be on probation?
Supporters of Free the Vote say they're encouraged by the fact that the idea has picked up key support from Republicans this year. At the Capitol, John Croman, KARE 11 News.
Backers say changing the rules would clear up a lot of confusion, both for election workers and the former offenders, about when they are eligible to vote. Well, lack of housing has prompted the construction of a man camp to house thousands of workers. Those workers are helping to build a $3 billion fertilizer plant. The camp will be located near Spiritwood, North Dakota, and will house about 2,000 workers. According to Valley City's Mayor Bob Werkhoven, both construction and operation of the fertilizer plant will be a win-win, he says, for the entire region. Plans are in the works for a summer construction project. NP Avenue in downtown Fargo may soon see some changes. The Downtown Community Partnership got a look this morning at some ideas that Fargo planners and engineers are developing for a stretch of NP between University and 10th Street. It calls for 2 lanes of traffic in one direction and 1 lane with a bike path in the other. Parking would be allowed on both sides of the street, and traffic engineers say, as it relates to bike traffic, it's really a brand new concept.
We came up with a couple options this week. You could either separate the bikes from the cars by putting them at a halfway elevated cycle track is what they call it, or right at the sidewalk grade. So it's a cycle track concept, and that's what the board approved.
The City Commission is scheduled to review these plans a week from Monday. Happy faces are being spread across the valley, all thanks to free dental care. Give Kids a Smile event was put on today. It's a nationwide program aimed at giving low-income families the dental care they need. It was available to kids ages 3 to 18. Some of the services that were offered included simple extractions, patient exams, and basic restorative procedures. NDSCS allied dental students performed cleanings, radiographs, sealants, fluoride applications, and oral health education. Well, it's the first Friday in the Lent season, and if you're looking for a place to enjoy a fish fry, we have a list for you. Just head to valleynewslive.com and then search for this story. And if you know of any fish fries going on in the valley, we want to know. Just head to Valley News Live's Facebook page, like it, and post that fish fry. Local athletes are all warmed up for a big tournament this weekend, but they need one more thing: fans. Cass County's Special Olympics are looking to fill the stands for a Sunday basketball game. It's a sport that is trying to raise awareness about the abilities of people with intellectual disabilities. And all you have to do is support them and come cheer them on. And it's free to watch. You can catch the action at Agassiz School in Fargo from 1 to 5:30 on Sunday. Get ready to start making your own projects again. Unglued Craft Fest is kicking off this weekend. 70 vendors will be taking up all 3 floors of the Plains Art Museum in downtown Fargo. The event kicks off tonight. Tickets are $20, and that includes an alcoholic beverage and a more exclusive shopping experience. Then Saturday, it's free all day, including all the vendors, as well as workshops and things for both adults and kids.
So it's just a weekend full of inspiration and creativity and a time to support local and regional makers making awesome modern handmade products.
This is the 5th annual year of Craft Fest. Well, still ahead at 5, more and more people are cutting the cord on cable, the new service that lets you watch and just pay for the shows you want.
It was above average today, 27-hour high temperature in Fargo-Moorhead. This time of the year, we're usually 25 in Fargo and 23 in Grand Forks, several days before this type of temperatures return. Details on some cold air next.